Why all the pre-dawn raids? What they did to Mr. Houck, what they did to Bryan Malinowski. I mean, let's assume I'm not sure Bryan Malinowski did anything wrong, but let's assume he did. Had 6 firearms, sold 6 firearms he wasn't supposed to sell. Why in the world would you knock on his door, have 10 cars pull up, coordinate with local police, put the tape on the doorbell cam and do what they did, which resulted in his loss of life? Why would you do that?
Look, the outrageous thing too, so they overdo it. And I got to tell you, I asked for body cam footage from the feds. They're not wearing the body cams. They're not on. The only people I could get was from the Pennsylvania State Police. They gave me a full video of the day.
You're talking Mr. Houck. You're talking about Mark.
For Mark,
in case
for
you
Mark
had.
Houck.
Understand.
You can't even figure out what are these folks doing. They tape the Ring doorbell.
Consistency, and they did the same thing with Mr. Malinowski. Mr. Houck was acquitted by the jury, found not guilty by the jury. Mr. Malinowski wound up dead because he thought he was being robbed, and he defended his home and then was shot in the head and died a few hours later. It's terrible what happened. And the interesting thing about the Malinowski case, they were surveilling him for weeks. They were all set to go do this raid pre-dawn still the week before, and they found out he wasn't there. They were going to get the firearms. He didn't need to be there. Why in the world would you do that and jeopardize life? And of course, the worst thing happens. Mr. Schwecker, would you? That's not how it's supposed to operate, is it?
No. Most of the time you do a couple hours of surveillance, you get the routines down, you catch them walking out to the car when they're unaware. Maximum drama is the only thing that you could surmise.
The only explanation could be that because they followed him and they could have went to the airport where he worked, where everyone knew. It was so ridiculous.
For me, I love Jim Jordan. I love the sound bites that he comes up with in Congress. Absolutely golden. I love what he says and how he says it. However, it's all talk and no bark. You hear all these sound bites and how great it sounds and how he's going to hold people accountable, but then nothing ever happens. To me, it's almost as if he's part of the problem. He's all talk and no bark.